people are also gonna change their perspective of you a million different times. The truth of the matter is that eventually you're gonna wanna be something else. You're gonna wanna expand and you're gonna wanna evolve, and that's gonna make people uncomfortable because you've only ever been one thing to them. But you have to allow them to be uncomfortable so that you can evolve. Ever since I was little, making videos and editing videos brings me somewhere where absolutely nothing else exists besides my computer and my edits and the little worlds I'm creating. And it's been like that since I was a child. And I was literally like 9 years old in my parents' office going crazy on a Friday night, just filming videos of myself in photo booth and then making music videos out of them, or making videos with my friends and just getting really into the edits. That was like my thing. That's what I was obsessed with. Now I'm 28 years old and I'm doing the same thing and I'm obsessed with it, and it does the same thing for my mind still. There's a few things that could compete with the joy that it brings me. Music does that as well. Singing does that as well. Improv does that for me as well. And I'm at the point now at 28 years old where the things that bring me the most flow and the most joy are the things that I can confidently say have taken like a front row seat in my life, or have taken like priority over a lot of things that I throughout my earlier 20s was just like dipping my toe in and figuring out. And I would freak out if, like, let's say I was focusing more on music in one part of my life than I was focusing on another thing. And to be so honest with you, it's like you may go through phases of life where you are just focusing on one thing for weeks or months or even years, and you get so scared that maybe if you focus too much on this one thing for too long, that's going to be the thing that just consumes your entire identity and how the world sees you. But what I've learned is the other things will just so naturally circle back one way or another if they are meant to be a part of your life and if you really want them to be. And when those things do circle back, you will then also have the skills from the other thing that you've been focusing on. They'll all work together and do a beautiful little dance. And I think we get so caught up on like, I want people to see me as a musician. I want people to see me as a painter. I want people to see me as like strictly this one thing because we're so obsessed with identity. Maybe we see someone who does an aspect of something we want to do and we're like, it looks cool on them. It looked cool on me. So now I want everyone to see me as that. But like, I feel like the more that you just embrace the things that put you in such a natural flow state, let the identity come later. People are also going to change their perspective of you a million different times. If you just allow yourself to evolve into all of the beautiful things that you're meant to be in this life, then people should often be confused and they should often have to pivot their perspective of you. So even if you try really hard for them to see you as one thing, the truth of the matter is that eventually you're going to want to be something else. You're going to want to expand and you're going to want to evolve, and that's going to make people uncomfortable because you've only ever been one thing to them. But you have to allow them to be uncomfortable so that you can evolve. Because I think it's way worse to get mass approval from something that you know you're faking and you're over and you're done with than it is to just feel the discomfort of people having to adjust to a newer version of you and adapting and moving on. One, I don't think people even care that much. I think people are making a judgment and then they're moving on with their lives, as they often do, because they're also worried about the same things you're worried about, and so they have to go worry about themselves. They're making a judgment and they're moving on, but yes, a million little judgments at once can be very overwhelming. I get that. I understand that. All of that to say, it's so easy to get our identity wrapped up in our craft, in the thing that we love, and the thing we want to be known for. I'm guilty of it constantly. And when I tell you, God will humble me every time. Every single time. And while it doesn't always feel so great to be humbled, we're far worse off allowing people's perception of us to decide our happiness and our quality of life. I think that's a dangerous game. And it looks really shiny from the outside often, but the inside isn't always as shiny as the outside is. That could have been a far more eloquent metaphor. All of that to say, there are a few things I can say, like put me in a state where I'm genuinely not thinking about the feedback yet, and I'm genuinely not thinking about the outcome yet, because that thing puts me in such a present place that all of that disappears, and it comes back when it's time to like release or deliver. But in the moment of creating that thing, I'm not there. For me, video editing is 110% since I can remember, 5 ever and always been that for me. It is my favorite thing. I couldn't imagine anyone else editing these vlogs besides me. These vlogs could go nowhere, which would be it would genuinely be sad to me because I think this is so fun. Like, this feels like I'm like creating my own TV show, but it could go nowhere and I still would have had a blast just editing and creating. But yeah, for me, that's video editing. For me, that's jamming. That's like singing with a group. I enjoy singing by myself and that can get me to a flow state, but singing with other people really gets me to a flow state. And then improv, which I literally need other people to do. A lot of the things that get me to flow state do require other people. And I feel like God has intentionally made a lot of the things I love or like my gifts come with need for collaboration, because I feel like a part of why we're all here is to be in community with people. So he's made a lot of the things that I do almost impossible to do entirely alone, except video editing. It's the one thing I can say that like is just a thing that I have gotten to have since I was little. That's all for me. And it calms my heart rate down. It brings me total peace. All of that to say, I don't believe that there are people who don't have something that they could at least work towards getting good at, that then they could use as a thing that would put them in that state. You know, if you want to edit videos, but you don't know how to use video editing software yet, obviously you're going to have to learn first. And that learning isn't always going to be easy or have flow state yet. But eventually, after however long, you'll get good enough to where you can like use it more freely to put you in that state more quickly. Or an instrument, right? Or I don't know, just anything. My point is this: life isn't perfect 24/7. There are demands of us often. A lot of us do deal with anxiety, worry, depression. And I do believe that art isn't just here for others to consume, for us to make and others to consume and us to obsess about how it's consumed, but it's here for us to actively engage with it so as to put us in a state that allows us to feel alive, you know? And I really encourage you, if you have that, maybe it's been a long time, you don't use it very often, Netflix is easier, scrolling is easier because it's just so easy to access. I would encourage you to push past that temptation to pull out your phone and scroll, which I'm guilty of literally every day, but to just push past it and get back into that thing that you know when you're doing it expands your mind and puts you in a really present state, because that state is so healing and everyone deserves to feel that. And if you create something from it that the world could also engage with and consume, I know that there are so many like vlogs out there and podcasts and music, that has brought me so much healing in this lifetime. So it is this really beautiful ecosystem of give and take. And if you've been more of a consumer than you have a creator, I would encourage you to hop on into that ecosystem and create and allow yourself to do for others what others have done for you, whether it's music or podcasting or all the other various forms of art that are out there. Film, acting. There's so much. But yeah, oh, sorry, my cat is using the tripod as a device to rub her fur on. Oh my God, Sophia. I'm gonna make dinner now. I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna finish last week's vlog because it is my favorite thing to do on this planet. And I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you guys so much for watching these vlogs. If you've made it here, I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. You know, these days when most of what we want to consume is 0.05 seconds or less, I appreciate you so much for sitting through this. Love you guys.